Konnichiwa and welcome back to Japan as we have travelled down from Motegi south to Suzuka for round 10 of the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hello everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman and alongside me in the booth is Richie Hearn. Behind the scenes we have our director Amjad Yamin and he is using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. Richie, we are entering the closing stages of a championship now, so it's quite appropriate that we find ourselves at Suzuka, which is a track that has played a big role in F1 championship deciders in the past.
Yes, welcome and thank you, Sam. We're at this awesome track called Suzuka International Racing Course located in Suzuka City. This track has hosted many races in the Formula One Championship and has seen some classic battles, most notably between Senna and Prost in 98, 99, and 1990 with those clashes they had as teammates and as not teammates in 1990 with that Turn 1 crash. This track is 3.6 miles long, 5.8 kilometers. We have 17 turns. It's a Grand Prix track with plenty of classic turns, including the S's, which are very tough, and the treacherous 130R. It was built by Honda originally as a test track, so it's got a little bit of everything out there. But the best way to get a view of this, what this place is like, let's jump on that GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Juha Nuorlampi in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Suzuka. Coming down to turns 1 and 2, it takes some bravery attempting any kind of pass with the curved braking. It kind of acts as one long arc, but turn 2 is more the hairpin part of the bend and requires a late apex. Crossing over, you're going to set up for the S's, which is an extremely line-dependent portion of the track. Ideally, you want to set the car up for each following corner, rather than focusing on tracking out for each exit. Keeping your rhythm will be critical. It'll be mostly single file through here unless someone makes a huge mistake, but it all culminates in the launch in a Dunlop. Through this long sweeper, you'll be flat out and just drifting it off to the left to make sure you hug the inside on the exit. Then, brake hard for Degner 1 and try not to get into the AstroTurf so that you can set up for Degner 2. Use the banking here as best you can to carry your speed, then get ready for the hairpin. This is a good overtaking spot, but the kink on entry means sometimes you can't tell if someone will defend until it's too late, so keep your head up. Square off the exit and get to the power as soon as you can without creating wheel spin. You're not going to be lifting again until you get to Spoon. You might sometimes see some passes get set up along here, but the entry to Spoon is so quick, it makes it kind of hairy to execute. Besides, once you come off the second sharper apex, it's really much smarter to focus on the launch from here. That's because it takes you onto the uphill climb along the backstretch. You're going to see a lot of slipstreaming, which will create some nervous two-wide scenarios into 130R. Thankfully, it's easily flat out in the Lotus, but you could still see problems come out of it. Then comes your last good chance for a pass, the Casio Triangle. Hard braking down into here from one of the fastest parts of the track offers prime real estate for overtakes. If you stay side by side through the chicane though, it'll be easy to trip over one another. Be easy on the power exiting the corner to keep from spinning the car, and hopefully if you kept it all together, you've now finished a lap around Suzuka.
That is just one of 23 laps that we are going to see around here today, and you are going to see 27 drivers take to this circuit in the single split we have going on here in iRacing, so it's going to be very busy out here. So with that being said, let's give you an idea of who are the names to look out for as we enter the closing stages of this championship. Here you see we are accounting for all 4 drop weeks, even though there's 3 weeks left to go in the championship. So these points could change up a bit by then. However, it is going to take quite a bit of a challenge, quite a bit of work to mount the challenge against Gernot Frisch. However, he is not here today. So this could potentially be a big opportunity for Antti Lepisto, who sits back second in the points, and to demonstrate how tricky the circuit is, we see a spin going on there in the background. So Antti Lepisto back 116 points of Gernot Frisch. John Stevens, who has been quite consistent throughout the season, has been involved in a little bit of argy-bargy as well, and I believe that has came between himself and Pablo Lumbrera Suarez that you see there in 4th position in the points. Obviously, someone had a bad week last week because another driver jumping up a position and making their name appear in the top 5 in the points is James Rawson. Well, let's take a look at the team standings. This is called the Classic Team Championship for a reason. There you see the battle continues to be between Ligier and Ferrari. While Gernot Frisch has had a highly impressive season, Salas has had some rounds that haven't gone quite to plan, and that means that Ferrari is sitting behind Antti Lepisto and Pablo Suarez. You just saw their names on the previous screen. Both Lepisto and Suarez having solid championship seasons, and it's paying off with Ligier at the top of the standings right now. McLaren back in 3rd place with Team ATS behind them, and Ram Racing behind them in 5th position. But even with all these teams and all these drivers that you just saw there on the standings, some other big names going to be out there worth keeping an eye on today. Nora Lumpke is back. He quote-unquote retired at the end of last season, so we'll see how he does here. And let's have a look at what Nora Lumpke and the rest of each drivers are going to have to face, Richie, with our series details.
Yeah, here we are at round 10 of 12, so just 3 races left. We have 4 drop weeks for each driver and 2 for each team, so that will change a little bit near the end. This race is only 23 laps, so it's a relatively short one. We have open setups, no stop required for fuel or tires, so we'll just go straight up. We have our 17 incident points, so anything more than that will be a disqualification. And we also use the official iRacing point system as usual.
17 incident points might sound like quite a lot, but if you've been participating in the 24 hours of Le Mans on iRacing over the weekend, you learn just how quickly those incidents can rack up sometimes. Well, what you see going on right now is an open qualifying session. All the drivers have the track to themselves for 8 minutes, in which they get to turn 2 laps. And only half of the field has turned a lap so far, Richie, but that could be due to the fact that it's quite a long lap around here.
Yeah, it does take a while to get around to start that green flag lap, and some of the drivers might be waiting to let some of the earlier drivers clear off, and it's about getting that clear lap, because if you get stuck behind somebody in like the S's or in the hairpin, it can really kill your lap time. So sometimes it's just about sitting there, just like in the real world racing, just kind of finding your spot so you can get at least 2 clean laps to put down something that will be representative of what you want to race.
Well, Nora Lumpke currently sits on provisional pole by almost 1.5 seconds over Matt Wood. However, that could be about to change. We've been following Antti Lepisto through this lap, coming around to complete his first lap time, and he does not beat Nora Lumpke. However, he still has 1 more lap.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle, I think, between Nora Lumpke and Antti Lepisto. Those guys are usually up front. Antti's had some song races, but he's also, had some mistakes that have hurt him in the points. But this time with the team points there, with Antti Lepisto and Suarez both in the field, and Gernot Frisch not, this is a good chance for them to kind of extend that team championship lead here with only 3 events left.
Yeah, I'm taking a look. Obviously, we mentioned the points are based on the official iRacing Championship. However, when we've seen Lepisto out here in the Classic Team Championship, he has had a lot of bad luck this season. In fact, I don't believe we have seen him win a race this year. This time out, though, with the number 1 on his car, it might not be easy if Nora Lumpke starts in front of him. Adam Fraser and Matt Wood, your provisional row number 2 right now.
Yeah, we got Ove Chancred obviously up into 5th spot. He's out on the track as well right now, trying to improve on that. And Suarez sitting in 6th spot as the moment. And Barry West running well, sitting in 7th position right now.
Barry West has been having a good second half of the season, that is for sure. His finishes have been getting stronger and stronger. Meanwhile, Lepisto is working his way through the final chicane right now. Who is going to be our pole sitter? Nora Lumpke has it out of 1:48.0, 1:48.0 for Lepisto too, but it is not enough.
No, you couldn't really even measure how small a difference that is, and they have quite a healthy gap over Adam Frazier too. So it looks like it's going to be a battle of between those two, and then there's a whole second for the next row with Adam Frazier and Matt Wood. So might see a little bit of a break between those two. And like I said, Anthony Lepisto has run well, but he's had some unforced errors on his own, I think. He gets a little bit aggressive and kind of takes himself out of it. So hopefully he can finish this race strong and maybe even try to steal that win for the first time this season.
And qualifying is up. 27 cars about to get gridded up. Let's run them down for you. Starting on pole position is Juha Nora Lumpke. What a return he's made so far. Antti Lepisto will be starting on the outside of him, just a couple hundredths back. Adam Frazier will be starting in third place alongside Matt Wood. Ove Trantre qualified in fifth position. He will start alongside Pablo Lumbreras Suarez. Barry West will start seventh ahead of Stefan Beluca. Andan Dizderevic will be starting in ninth place ahead of Sami Villamarki.
Yeah, next up will be Charles Eric Lemlin and Rene Lopez in row 6. Then we have Daniel Gutuzzo and Steve Sarlis, teammate to Bruno Friesch, sitting in that 14th spot. Next up will be Andreas Nielsen and Robert Simpkins. Next row will be Glenn Corrigan and Derek Roosevelt. Next up after that will be Francisco Javier Gutierrez and Gregor Verstralen.
Then on our final page here, Chris Howard, Johnny Bell, Cameron Smith and Marco Says were the last 4 drivers out on the stopwatch. David Toth, Francois Gagne and Russell Hamilton failed to turn the lap during qualifying, waiting for a few more to get gridded up and then we will be racing.
This will be a really tricky run down at turn 1 for these guys. This is where we've seen that classic battle between Senna and Prost in 1990. So it kind of comes in hot and then it tightens up right at the exit. So it's important for these guys to kind of give a little bit of room to each other so we can get this race underway.
Just waiting for Sami Villamarki to grid up. He has taken his slot. The lights are about to come on. Nora Lumpke and Lepisto on the front row. The lights are off and away they go. And a better launch off line for Lepisto. Nora Lumpke already going defensive, taking him over to the inside, trying to make it tough for him to get by. But Lepisto's going to throw it in anyway and take a lead coming out of the first corner.
Yeah, that's a pretty aggressive move for Andy Lepisto to take that lead. I think it's important for him to get out in front and make Nora Lumpke chase him down. Looks like a pretty clean start all the way through the field as they make their way through the S's here, single file, and away we go. So nice job to these guys.
Matt Wood has worked his way up into third position ahead of Adam Frazier. Barry West also gained a spot off the line. He moved up to 6th ahead of Pablo Suarez. And Charles Eric Lemelin moved up into the top 10 from 11th on the grid. So a few movers early on, a couple of drivers kicking up. Gravel at the back, and one of them is Gregor. Gregor Verstapelen is in the wall. But the rest of the field continue.
Yeah, they all kind of got checked up there, and you know, just a little bit of contact, and we'll see what happens here on this on the action we got going on.
Yes, Gregor Verstralen had to take a 2 to the pits. Very unfortunate for him. Lepisto is losing a lot of time to Nora Lumpke down the straight. It looks like Nora Lumpke must have a lot less downforce on that number 2 machine. It's not a result of fuel strategy or anything. All these drivers can make it to the end of a race. However, Lepisto positioned his car very well and will come around to lead lap number 1.
Yeah, it's a fine balance here with that aero package. You know, you got long straights, but you have those high-speed S's, so it's kind of, you know, where do you want to be fast? So maybe Antti took a little bit more rear wing to start the race, He'll be fast through the S's. We'll see as they come through there right now. And Noah Lampe might have taken some wing out. See if he can make that pass going into 130R.
Most of the field single file. So let's see if we can take a look back actually at what happened. So here's a replay of what happened on lap number 1 to Gregor Verstrijlen. It was through the Degner curves, Richie. They just all kind of got a bit close together, and here we go.
Yeah, you just get that that Constantine effect as they go in. Everybody slows up, and if you're not ready for it, you have to check up, and it just looks like that's what happens. Unfortunately, kind of entered the race for Gregor early on.
Now we'll ride on board that 24 machine. The only incident so far, and early stages though here at the Suzuka circuit. Andy Lepisto leading the way after a good start off the line. And it almost looked like the way Noah Lampe went defensive straight off the bat, Richie, that he must have known he got a bad start and he needed to fight against Lepisto to stop him from taking that lead.
Yeah, and we see once again as they come into the final chicane, the Casio triangle there, that Noah Lampe closes right up on him on that long straightaway. But Andy Lepisto's doing a good job running a clean race so far and holding Noah Lampe. It's got to be a little bit of pressure seeing that car behind him, but good race so far. And we're kind of seeing that separation like we talked about where those first two are pulling away. They're basically already a second and a half over third place, Matt Wood. Ove Trengerade has made a good start as well. He's moved up, or he's basically where he started, but he's doing a good job hanging on to Matt Wood there.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Adam Fraser there, running in 4th position, because even though he's down one spot from where he started, he's running up here competitively with the number 1, 2, 3 and 4 cars around him, and he has a number 9 on it, remember? And this is an official iRacing series race, so the number on their car is reflective of their ranking as far as iRating is concerned.
Yeah, I apologize. I said Ove Trenkerade was behind Matt Wood, but he's actually right behind Adam Fraser. So, yeah, he's doing a good job in that number 9 car. Ove's in the number 4 car. Barry West had a good start, too. Started 7th. He's running 6th. He's hanging on to the back of Ove. He's got a little bit of separation at the moment, but he now has that. Pablo Suarez is right behind Barry West. So usually Pablo is the one holding people up, or not holding people up or having to defend. But now he's on the attack mode. So a little bit different situation for Suarez that we've seen this season.
Degner 2 just took another victim, although this time they're able to continue. Cameron Smith looped it coming out of a turn and got a piece of a wall. His car's crabbing a little bit. There's damage to both of his wings, but he's going to try and keep going.
Got a good battle here with Barry and Suarez, like I was talking about. Barry's
and we've got a good battle for the lead. Sorry, Richie. Noah Lampe down the inside of Lepisto, but nothing happening.
Oh, yeah, it's closed way up, and it's going to get tight here. Yeah, it's a good call. And we'll see if Andy Lepisto can kind of keep his head straight and just, it's got a long ways to go, but he's in a good position. But he's going to get a lot of heat for Noah Lampe, who hasn't been out here for a while. He kind of took a break, and he's running strong on this first race back.
Yeah, you mentioned Pablo Suarez and how he's normally racing around other drivers. I mentioned at the top of the show, Richie, one of our strongest drivers in the points, John Stevens, has had a bit of argy-bargy with Pablo Suarez throughout the season. And likewise, Barry West. Well, our viewers might be saying, well, where is John Stevens today? He is not here. So, no John Stevens and no Gurno Frisch. Sometimes in iRacing life happens, and that's why these guys have 4 drop weeks for each driver.
Yeah, it is the summertime for everybody, so we have our vacations and our family time to take care of. So you got to take a break once in a while. So having those 4 drop weeks does help. But normally we do see John Stevens right in the mix in here. But this is a tough battle between Barry and Suarez. I'm watching that right now, and they also have Stefan Baluka right behind them. So a little group of 3 running for that 6th position.
Yeah, Beluca started 8th in the number 8 car, currently running position number 8. Adnan Dizdarevic back there 9th, also started in 9th place, but he's in the number 16 car, so performing well right now. But things getting close for 6th position. The leaders are spread apart right now, but 6th place definitely up for grabs, with Pablo Suarez getting a nice run on Barry West.
Now, Nora Lampe took another shot at, looked like he's going to take another shot at Andy Lepisto into turn 1, and I can see Andy's starting to take a little bit more of a defensive line down that front straightaway, so he's definitely seeing Juha in his mirrors. And like I said, these guys are separating themselves out from the rest of the pack, so we'll kind of follow that as we go. There are some good battles all the way through this field, so that's good to see.
Yeah, and worth noting for our viewers that might get confused when we jump to them, you are seeing both Ligiers right now racing defensively. Andy Lepisto, of course, leading the race ahead of Nora Lampe, and then when we jump back to the 6th place battle, that's Pablo Suarez, who actually got by Barry West, who is in the other Ligier in 6th right now. As for Ferrari, who they're fighting in the championship, Prix, who mentioned, isn't here, and Steve Salis is all the way back in 13th. Actually, he's in a bit of a scrap for 12th.
Yeah, I missed that pass that Suarez put on Barry, but turn 1 is where he passed him, so a classic move, just kind of out-braking him there. We'll see what kind of speed that Suarez has and see if he can pull ahead. He's got about 2.8 second gap to Ove Trenkered in 5th, who's kind of running by himself there. He's got Adam Fraser in front of him, but no challenge for that 4th position just yet.
Trade for position behind this pack, by the way. Good, actually quite a frightening battle going on into 130R almost for 16th position. Derek Roosevelt got it from Robert Simpkins. Simpkins now has Andreas Nielsen behind him. But boy, I thought they were going to go side by side through 130R. That's definitely not advisable.
No, the track's old school track, so it's not very wide. So you got to go single file through there, unless it's maybe last lap. But a little bit while ago, we had a battle on screen there, which I'm watching right now, between Rene Lopez, Steve Sarlis, and Daniel Gutuzzo for that 12th spot. So these guys are running tough, going through the S's right now as we watch on screen.
Yes, it's in the middle of the field we're watching right now. Sometimes on iRacing, the battle for 15th isn't that prestigious, but we have a 27 car field today, 25 cars left in the race now. Cameron Smith, who we saw have that spin a couple laps ago, has officially retired from the race, as we got a good battle for 10th position going on with Charles-Eric Lemelin, who got by Sammy Villamarchi at the start, but hasn't been able to pull away from him.
No, it looks like he's holding up Sammy a little bit, and Sammy's starting to poke his nose into the inside of these corners, so we might see a move coming up. These guys are right on top of each other. They're coming right up to this left-hander, sweeping left-hander. It's just like a double apex here. It's a really tricky corner, but important to get a good run, because this is what leads onto that back straightaway heading up into 130R. We'll see Sammy Villamarchi is right on the tail, so he's in that draft. Looks like he's going to try to take a poke, sticking his nose out there. Yeah, this is going to be rough. I don't think he's close enough, but he's easily backs off, and then another chance coming into the casino triangle. Not quite there. Not, just take your time. He's right on the back of him, though, and getting ready to set up maybe a move going into turn 1.
Even though it's a long lap, the laps around here do click off in a hurry, especially as a driver, Richie, because of how technical it is, for lack of a better term. You're doing a lot of work throughout the lap, and by the time you finally get the rest on the front straight again, you realise, oh, that's another one clicked off, and now all of a sudden we only have, do some quick math here,
yeah, it's
16 laps to go.
Yeah, it goes by quick, so it's a relatively short event. it is a tricky track in that
Oh,
way.
whoa, spin. That was Sammy Villamaki. Spins in turn 7. A big slide, kept it off of everything.
Now he's going to lose a lot of spots here too, as Rene Lopez and Steve Sars. That battle for 12th is now going to be a battle for 11th. Oh yeah, it's tricky. Just kind of a little drifty move in that Lotus 79.
So Villamaki's got going again in 14th place.
Battle up front hasn't changed much, although it looks like any of the Pistos kind of, well, I'd say you had a gap and then they close right back up as they go into the Casino Triangle. But these guys are battling hard, running fairly quick laps. Any of the Pistos drop down to the 149s, although that last lap wasn't so quick, and it's allowed Noah Lampi to catch back up. But they've gapped themselves almost 5 seconds to third place Matt Wood at the moment.
And it shows you how much Noah Lampi is able to keep up with Lapisto, because a couple of laps ago, Noah Lampi was actually almost a second and a half back. But obviously he must have just missed a turn, and using that lower downforce he must have been able to run Lapisto back down in the slipstream. So this battle not going away anytime soon.
No, that last lap, Noah Lampi was about 0.7 of a second faster, so I don't know if any had a little bit of a mistake. But going back to Suarez, after he got by Barry, I thought maybe he might be able to pull away, but he's actually lost time to Ove Trenkerade, and he's allowed Barry West and Stefan Baluka to stay with him for that 6th position. Not much of a battle for position, but they're all really close right now. So one little mistake by Suarez, and he's going to give those positions up. That battle for 11th spot between Rene Lopez and Steve Sarlis and Daniel Gattuso is still heating up. Seems like Sammy Villamaki, after his spin, he's right behind them, and he's going to look to catch up and maybe get those positions back. And so we'll see it. We'll kind of watch that progress as we go.
Yeah, Rene Lopez, who is kind of leading this train, did not have a good lap time last lap around. I wonder if he may have just made a mistake, had a bad lap, or I wonder if he's also driving out of his mirrors a little bit with the cars behind him. If that's the case, it's not good news. It's going to bunch them all up behind him, and we're going to end up with a pretty exciting battle for 11th place here. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Russell Hamilton is now in the pits. He has damage on his number 26 machine.
Yeah, we got some good battles on the track all the way through. We've got a good battle for 16th between Robert Simpkins, Andreas Nielsen, and David Toth. These guys are tight enough. Lately, last couple of weekends, we've seen kind of everybody separated out, but we got some good battles all the way through the field, so that's good to see, and this is a great track for this car. You can see Robert Simpkins trying to break that draft. Can't really do that here, I don't think. Just got to focus on what you're driving and focus on your own line, but these guys are, even though they're battling for 16th, 17th, and 18th, they're giving it everything they got.
Well, David Toth was on track during qualifying. He didn't turn the lap during qualifying, but he was going through 130R right as the checkered flag came out. So I have a feeling whatever happened during his qualifying attempt, he just mistimed at the end, was trying to put a lap in as things getting really close here. Oh, Villamaki's had another mistake, and that's the pack that we've been following who just went by him. Same corner as well, turn 7 again.
Yeah, turn 7's tricky as you come over that rise a little bit, and just same kind of incident, just a little hard on the gas, I guess. He still got away with not hitting anything, but it's definitely not helping his finish position as he kind of falls back even more.
So Toth continuing to try and navigate his way up through the field after not turning a lap in qualifying. Or at least not turning the time. He made that spot.
Yeah, he makes that pass. That was tough. And Andreas Nielsen is right behind him as well. So they've gotten pretty close on track. But that was a good move. And yeah, it's tough if you don't make a qualifying lap with this type of field. He is running the 12 cars, so he probably should have been a little bit farther up. But you know, if he got a 1X or something, it just kind of deletes his lap. So that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. He's having to battle hard with these guys.
Yes. Whoa! Side by side into the first corner.
Yeah, Ronnie Lopez looks like he probably almost like should have McDonald's on the side of that car with those colors, but he's got Steve Sarlis in that Ferrari right behind him, and then right behind him is Daniel Gattuso, who's man, this is a tough battle right here. This is good to watch, and Steve Sarlis has had some tough races lately, and he's the lone Ferrari in this field. He's got to get some points for his team, so try to keep it clean and try to make a good pass on Lopez and get up into that 11th spot.
Yeah, definitely a looking much better for Ligier today than what it is for Ferrari, but Ferrari should still have...
Steve got loose off that corner, almost put into the wall, and you know, like I say, he's got to just kind of keep it clean, focus on what he's got to do in front, but he's got Daniela all over him, so I'm sure he's looking in front and in his mirrors at the same time.
Yeah, Ferrari still have 2 weeks after this to try and close that gap on Ligier in the Team Championship. Next week we'll be at Kota, and then we will finish the season in 2 weeks' time at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, those are going to be 2 great tracks for these cars, so it'll be exciting to watch.
Roverland has had an off, Derek Roverland in the number 17 car. Rose Lavelle, they're going for a spin there over at Spoon.
Not just a single car incident, just kind of same thing that we saw with Sammy, only in a different type of part of the track, just getting on the gas a little bit harder than he wanted to. No traction control in these cars. Meanwhile, I'm watching Annie Lepisto, and you know, that battle's still there, but just watched Nora Lampe kind of get a little bit wide going through turn 7, and Nora Lampe goes off the track. He's trying hard, and he's getting some drifting moves, but meanwhile it's letting Annie Lepisto kind of pull away. There he goes right there on the replay, going off the track there. And
Gattuso and Sarlis have gone side by side throughout the whole set of S's. It's very rare to see that, but even more rare, Gattuso is able to pull it off.
Yeah, that was impressive for these guys, giving each other room, because it's really hard to do. But yeah, Gattuso's made that move. And we'll watch that again here.
Yeah, and so this all started actually with Sarlis not able to make his way by Lopez, and then Gattuso just I mean, great racing. These 2 drivers giving each other plenty of space. In the end, it ends up being in favor of the number 10 car.
Yeah, Gattuso was in that popcorn seat there, as Soup likes to say, and took advantage of that spot. Meanwhile, Steve Sarlis, though, hasn't given up. He is still right on the tail of Gattuso, and it's given Rene Lopez a little bit of a gap, a little bit of breathing room. But this battle for 12th spot is still going strong. They come up to 130R at the moment, and Steve is right behind him. Not close enough. Ooh,
yeah, but behind them they are going side by side into 130R between Robert Simpkins and David Toth. Toth had got his nose cut off the front of him, so Nilsson runs right up on the back of him. A 4-way battle going on for 14th.
Yeah, Sammy Villamaki trying to recover from his mistakes. He's seeing all this action in front of him, but these guys are racing hard right now between Toth and Andre Nielsen. And great battle here for 14th spot.
Yeah, well, Toth basically doing what Nilsson was doing last week at Motegi. I believe Nilsson failed to turn a decent qualifying time in there, and we saw him trying to work his way through the field during that race.
Great battle for P3 here between Matt Wood and Adam Frazier. Adam's right all over the back of Matt Wood as they battle for that final podium position. Up front, it's a little bit spaced out, so not much going on right here. So this is the next good battle on the track for that podium spot.
Yeah, Frazier started in 3rd place, but lost it to Matt Wood at the very start. And, well, Wood has it, and Frazier wants it back.
Now, this is bringing Ove into that battle as well. So his lap times are pretty comparative to what they're doing. So I'm sure he's watching them and hoping that they slow each other down so he can get into a battle for that third spot.
Talking about slowing each other down, I know we're jumping around a lot, but a lot of great battles on the track right now. Toth has finally got by Simpkins. Simpkins trying to get it back, but I really think he needs to be a bit more concerned with Nilsson behind him, because Toth is starting to break away.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like Suarez, Barry West, and Stefan Baluka have all kind of separated themselves out. They had a good battle there going for a while, but they're separated out. The good battles on the track are Matt Wood and Adam Frazier for that third spot, and then back to that Robert Simpkins, David Toth, and Andreas Nielsen, and Sammy Villamaki are all running together going into turn 1 at the moment.
So a couple of great battles on the circuit. Oh, upside down goes Simpkins. And he was racing so defensively to try and stop cars that seemed to be a bit better performing. I wonder if he just burned off his equipment there.
Yeah, the tires should be hanging in there. He just got a little over aggressive as you watch the replay here. This is a wreck that he is not coming back from, so he'll definitely have to take a tow after this. But as we're watching on board, just got a little loose. Clip the end of that wall, and there you go. Sky grass. That's not what you want to see. Oh, right behind that, though, I'm still watching that Sammy Villamaki's really taking a shot at Andreas Nielsen. Andreas Nielsen.
Yeah, Glenn Corrigan just crashed out of a race. Our 5th car into the pits with extensive damage. Number 6 had not been running too well today, so Corrigan, Simpkins, Smith, Verstralen and Hamilton all in trouble today. But let's rejoin the action out on the circuit.
And just looking at the times in the back here, we're going to start seeing some lap traffic, I think, fairly soon. Not quite yet, but Francois Gagne's last car in the lead lap, and he's minute 37 behind the leader. So in about half a lap or so, we're going to see Ante Lepisto come across these guys, and that could change this battle up front. He still has a little bit of a breather, about 2-second gap to Norlampe, but that traffic could take some toll on this.
He's watching the lap count in the top left corner of our screen, counting down 10 laps to go. Well, some places that's not a whole lot. Here though at Suzuka, it's going to take a while to click all those off. Lepisto is going to want to mind that gap between himself and Norlampe as they approach this lap traffic.
Matt Wood and Adam Frazier still battling it out tightly for this third spot. You know, Frazier is still right in his draft, and it seems like if it looks like Ove's just kind of slowly creeping into this battle. He's running about 0.4 of a second faster that last lap on Adam Frazier. So in about 3 or 4 laps, we might see a really strong battle for that third spot between these three. As they go through the casino triangle here, it always tightens up and then just kind of spreads out going into turn 1. Got to really get a good run off that corner. Unfortunately, it kind of goes over the hill a little off camber, so if you get on the gas a little too hard, you get a little bit of wheel spin. So it is a tricky section of that track, not as easy as it looks on paper. Meanwhile, back behind, it's kind of separated itself out. Andreas Nielsen, Sammy Villamaki still fighting it tough for that 15th spot. Sorry, Sam. There.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on those guys too. As they off in front of them goes the driver running in 14th, David Toth. He hasn't really been able to break away from them like I think he would have. Obviously, this pack is 1 car less after Simpkins' spin not too long ago.
The leaders are starting to make their way through that lap traffic, and Annie Piso's doing a pretty good job here. I'm still watching Nora.
Oh, Rene Lopez is off.
Oh, that's too bad. He was kind of running by himself there in that 11th spot, and he's taking a tow. His engine looks like it's a little bit done blowed up there.
Normally an indication of a pretty hard whack into the wall. We will get confirmation from that on our replay.
Oh, just a bad downshift. Yeah, this has a standard box, so if you downshift too soon. So as they say in NASCAR world, that engine done blowed up. You don't see that very often, but it can happen if if you're not careful matching those RPMs going into those corners.
Yeah, another way to put it in the F1 world is kablamo.
As I was saying earlier, I was watching this battle with Andy Lepisto. Not much of a battle, but they're kind of making their way through that lap traffic. And I'm seeing Noah Lampe, man, he's trying hard. He still is getting that rear end loose in some of these corners, stepping off the track. So he's definitely trying to chase down Andy Lepisto with everything he's got. And he's done a good job so far. He hasn't been able to put a complete race together. So good to him to see that #1 car. And he's got, 8 laps to go to finish this off for himself.
And there you see the interval now 10 seconds over Matt Wood, who continues to hold on to third. Matt Wood had a couple of rough races earlier on in the season, finally broke through for his first podium of the season with a third place finish at Motegi, trying to go back-to-back with podiums in his Williams here today.
Yeah, he hasn't had it easy either. I mean, Adam Frazier's been all over him, and they basically swapped positions at the start with Matt Wood 4th, running 3rd, and Frazier starting 3rd and running 4th. And Ove hasn't been able to really kind of get into this battle at all. He's running about the same times as they are at the moment, and started 5th and still running in that 5th position. Battle. And we got Chris Howard is into the pits.
That could be as simple as not putting enough fuel in the car to make it to the end.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. There's no reason to stop. Doesn't look like he has any damage, so he's coming in. And
oh, Toth is in trouble. Number 12 goes off, comes back on, but loses positions. So that allows Nilsson and Villamarchi to get back by him. Once again, Degging the 2.
Yeah, he's just kind of just off as an own.
It's got to be one of the most underrated racing turns in the world. Up there with turn 6 at Laguna Seca for being tricky without anyone really talking about it.
And then on screen, we're going to see Toth go around the outside before 130R. Wow, that was pretty brave to make that move. And now he's going to try to get that spot back. He's going to, not quite, but these guys are battling really hard for that. They really want that 12th spot or 13th spot as they're racing for. So nice job for Toth. And he's going to try to make another move on the outside down the front straightaway here. He's going to try to outbrake him. And wow, he just goes right by him. Really nicely done there.
Almost makes me wonder if Toth is another one of those drivers running a bit lower downforce. He was able to pass these guys on the straight so easily, but once he's got that front, he hasn't really been able to break away from these guys. I'm wondering if he's struggling through the corners.
Well, this part of the track is where he would struggle if he did have less downforce. You can see him sliding around a little bit, so he's got to kind of hold steady. And this is where you would, like I said, you would struggle if you're running the less downforce. Kind of saw that with Noah Lampe as well. He was fast down the straightaways, but struggled a little bit. And he's lost quite a bit of distance between Andy Lepisto. He's a good 2 seconds behind. So Andy Lepisto's done a good job getting through that traffic and keeping it clean with only 6 laps to go.
Yeah, really sliding his way through the hairpin there was Toth. Yeah, even though Noah Lampe is 2 seconds back at Lepisto, though, that's really the most we've seen it all race long. He's been able to... Oh, there's a slide, another slide from Villamarchi back there.
He just backed that thing into the corner. I just happen to be watching it at the moment, and he's just into drifting this car around him. Here he come. You can see him. He'll come into the corner. And he turns in, and see that correction. Keeps it on the track, doesn't lose too much time, but he's really struggled with that rear end in some of these high-speed corners throughout this event.
So while these three have been racing each other, this is allowing Derek Rollervold in the number 17 back end 16th place. He's slowly working his way towards them. Meanwhile,
it looks like he's going to try to take a move on the outside into turn 1 on Sammy, and there's they got some contact, and Derek goes off and be able to continue. We were watching that live right there, so yeah, Sammy's driving a little bit. He's got a little red mist, I think, a little Paul Tracy in him at the moment, and making some mistakes, and just not going to give in an inch to anybody else.
Yeah, meanwhile, Rollervo back there running in 16th place. 17 cars on the lead lap right now, the last of them being Francisco Javier Gutierrez. It looks like all those 17 should finish on the lead lap. They've really spaced themselves out from the cars that have already gone a lap down, starting with Johnny Bell in 18th place. So that does mean for our leaders, the race is between them now. And in fact, Nora Lumpke is very well aware of that, because he just set, for the first time this race, a 1:48.
Yeah, as the fuel burns off, you're definitely going to get faster, and he's closed. He's gotten about a half a second back on that 2-second gap he had earlier. I don't know if traffic had to do with anything about it, but like you said, they're clear to go at this point. I don't think they're going to catch up to anybody else. So we'll see what Andy Lepisto. He's just got to keep his head down. He's definitely got the car to pull away. He's just got to keep it clean on his own end. Well, on screen, watching Matt Wood and Adam Frazier. Frazier has not given up on trying to steal that podium away back from Matt Wood. They've been running well, but never seen a real good challenge from Frazier yet. So he's just kind of just in that little barrier right there, that half a second barrier. Can't quite get close enough to try to outbrake him yet.
The battle for 14th continues on the front straight. They're going to go into turn 1 side by side. Andreas Nilsson on the outside. Sami Villamarki down on the inside. Nilsson a bit late on the brakes, but Villamarki not giving up. There's a bit of contact between them, and Nilsson holds on to it for now.
Yeah, he closed the door on him very late, and a little contact for that right front to the left rear, but no harm, no foul. These guys are starting to ramp up this heat, though, as we've only got 5 laps to go.
For the leaders, it's about to be 4 laps to go. Go ahead, Richie.
I was just going to say, this allowed David Toth, who's had to battle back from a mistake on his own, to kind of get a little bit of gap, a little breather room from these guys. So the real battle is between Nielsen and Villamarki. And watching Villamarki, he's still sliding that back end into the corner, so he's really struggling with that entry into the corner with the rear end. This has definitely brought Derek Rosenfeld back into the mix after his little bit of contact with Villamarki earlier on.
And Toth has really trekked out from this pack now. He's got a healthy, I believe, 4 seconds almost over them. So it looks like he will finish 13th after starting 25th. And granted, and I know somewhere Bill Zahn is saying don't give him credit for being the hard charger, Samuel. He didn't turn a lap in qualifying, but he tried to. He just ran out of time, and you know, so he's had these work cut out for him today. It's about for third. It's on.
We also had a little contact with Stefan Baluka as well. But here we go, battle for third coming up.
Matt Wood still has it. He's had it ever since turn 1 when he took it from the guy behind him, Adam Frazier.
And as I was saying, no reason for the replay, but I was watching Stefan Baluka trying to get by a lap car and kind of ran into the back of him. He was trying to catch up to Barry West for that 7th spot.
Yeah, a lot of drivers in the top 10 today. And around goes Frazier from 4th place. He's spinning in spoon, span, but gets back on the circuit. And I don't think he lost 1 position to Ove Trantre. Yeah,
Ove finally saw an opening. He's been trying hard to get up to these guys and finally saw his position, his opening to move up 1 spot to that 5th spot. And yeah, Frazier just kind of did a spin on his own there, and as we burn the tires off, some of these corners get a little trickier. And, you know, if your setup's not right, you're going to have to be a little easier on that loud pedal. Meanwhile, up front, Andretti Piso's been able to gap Noralampi quite a bit. He's a good 4 seconds ahead, so I don't know if Noralampi's had an off, but Noralampi has been trying very hard to stay with Lepisto. So nice job for Lepisto so far. 3 laps to go. Just got to keep his head down for his first win of the season.
Yeah, boy, Noralampi's really fallen off. About 3 seconds there. Go ahead, Richie.
I was just going to say, just kind of Matt Woods now has got the breathing space that he needed to hold on to that 3rd spot. Everybody else is kind of separated out as we go down the field. Not much going on in that top 10. Everybody's kind of, looks like a lot of people just kind of doing their thing.
Trying to work out what happened to Noralampi. Drifted through turn 1. Okay, so Johan Noralampi almost lost the number 2 machine at the start of this lap, and that's what has cost him several seconds to Lepisto. And with that being said, knock on wood, it looks like Lepisto might get his first Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship win of the year. He's just 2 laps away from doing it, if that turns out to be the case.
Yeah, we got a battle heating up for 12th spot with Steve Salas.
And sorry, Trandre just went off from 4th place. He holds on ahead of Frazier, though.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. He did bring Adam Frazier back into the mix, but I was going to say Steve Sarlis is running well in that 12th spot, but David Toth has, you know, chased him down. Now he's right on the tail. And, you know, Steve's got to have, like I said, a good finish here for his team points. But Toth is hungry for that 12th spot. He is dive bombing him. And we'll see if he can make a clean pass as they come around to finish, try to kind of the white flag fairly soon.
Yeah, coming to start the final lap. I can't imagine... Hold on, I'm hearing something's off with Johnny Bell. He just ran off course to let a couple of lead cars by. I can't imagine as we start the final lap here. No, we don't. We still got another lap left. I can't imagine that this is going to be a good day for Ferrari in the team championship battle with Salas back in 12th place. This will probably count as one of their 2 drop weeks, considering it's a single split. However, on the driver side of things, this should be a good day for Steve Salas, running up in 12th place in the number 19 car. Should be able to get a handy amount of points, which will move him up a couple positions in the driver championship.
Yeah, it's not going to help the team championship with Suarez and Lepisto. Oh, here we go. We got, David Toth is looking on the inside there in turn 1. Not quite there, but like I say, he's hungry for that 12th spot. So we'll kind of see what happens as we go along. But I was saying with Andretti Lepisto and Suarez in the 6th spot, this is going to be a good points haul for the team championship. And, you know, with only a couple races left, this might seal the deal for them.
And here we see Lepisto making his way through the last couple of turns. He's about to start the final lap of the race. Now, Noralampi still eating into his lead a little bit, but it's going to be too little, too late. And as I say that, Noralampi goes purple. There we go. So, a 1:48.565, fastest lap of the race, but he is still 4 seconds back.
Yeah, a little too late for that. He's just got to run clean, and he's going to take that 2nd spot. So, it'll be a good finish for someone who stepped away for a little while. Still watching this battle with Steve and David Toth. It is not stopped, and it's going to heat up, I think, a little bit more as these guys come around, get closer to the end.
The battle for 4th should also be on the final lap. Trandre, who had that sliding spoon a little while ago, meant that Adam Frazier was able to run him back down. Frazier spent most of the race in 4th place, and I'm sure he'd like it back.
Around to finish this final lap here. Getting the white flag. Andretti Lepisto doing a great job with 4-second healthy gap to Noralampi. Matt Wood doing his thing. He's in 3rd spot. He's had to battle hard for that, and he's kept it clean, so he deserves that. But Ove Trinkerade and Adam Frazier, boy, that's heated up right here. If you want to go to that battle for that 4th spot.
Well, we're keeping half an eye on it, but we're also keeping half an eye on Anti-Lapista as he comes up to the final complex for the final time. And for the first time of the season, I believe, surprisingly, but well-deserved, Anti-Lapista is going to be the winner here at Suzuka. So Nora Lumpke will get second, Wood will get third, who will get fourth? It looks like it's going to be Trantere right now.
Yeah, he's not. He's got a little bit of gap through that corner, not quite close enough for Fraser to make a move. So yeah, it looks like it's going to finish just the way we were watching. Nice job to Ove.
The rest of the top 10 spread out. 12th place, very much not the case. Steve Salis has David Toth trying to look down the inside of Spoon. A few turns to go to the line, and it's contact.
Oh, they both spin. It's a double spin, and then it backs up into him. No, and then Toth just kind of backed up, and Steve Salis is still able to get going. Good for him, because it's kind of a little bit of a rough move there. But Steve looks like he's going to keep going and hold out that spot. Meanwhile, David Toth is going to hold steady as well, but that was a little rough.
Well, let's see. If Aero is affected, they will struggle through 130R here, because right behind them, Sami Villamarki has gone from 16th to 14th this lap. He has gotten by Andreas Nielsen and Derek Rulevold. So we'll get a replay of that when the race finishes. I have a feeling there may have been some kind of incident there, but boy, what an action-packed final lap that was. Let's see how Sami Villamarki was able to work his way up from 16th to 14th on the final lap. Could have very easily been 16th to 12th.
Yeah, these guys have been battling hard the whole race, this group of four. So we're watching the replay right now as they go around a lap car, the three of them.
So, try something ambitious in the hairpin is my guess, yes.
That was a little bit of a dive bomb by Derek there, and it's kind of opened the door for everybody else.
Yeah, so Sammy kind of, he didn't do anything wrong there. He just took opportunity of, a very ambitious move in front of him. And then we go pretty much right at the same time. We were watching this battle between David Toth and Steve Salis. And aren't you glad that a 4X only counts once, you know? Because otherwise you get a 4X here, a 4X here, and one more for good measure.
Yeah, he just kind of drove in, and then he gets, for good measure, Toth just kind of backs back up to him. But you know what? I'm sure... Steve's maybe not happy, but it still finished the way they were. So, really in the end, it's okay. And then right here, he just kind of backs up and just takes another shot at him. So, it all worked out. Really good, exciting. Just saw in the chat there that Derek was apologizing for that accident.
Before we go away, our viewers may have noticed something at the top of the screen. Nora Lumpke is not being credited with second position. I don't know what happened. Maybe...
I think he ran out of fuel, because I saw a car going slow after they came out of the Casino Triangle. I didn't know who that was, and he might have ran out of fuel. I don't think he made it to the finish line under his own power.
You were right. Yeah, we were watching him bound for fourth, so he ran out of fuel right ahead of the finish line and dropped from second to fifth. Alright, well, we will be back with a full race rundown as well as drive interviews here on GSRC on the Global SimRacing Channel. Don't go away. Alright, welcome back here to the GSRC. Antti Lepisto just won a 23-lap race at Suzuka. And Juha Noora would have finished second. However, a very bizarre moment out of the final corner. We'll get a replay of it pulled up for you right here. Right, obviously here we're calling him in second place. He hasn't shown any indication of slowing down all race long, going through the chicane. We're watching the battle for fourth, and all of a sudden slows down a lot more than what you would have if you just ran out of fuel. It turns out he actually elected to slow down and yield the positions to the cars that were right behind him, who have been running in third, fourth and fifth, to let those three guys cross the line ahead of him, Matt Wood, Ove Trantre and Adam Fraser, to allow them to get more points in the championship. Considering he's not running the championship, he would have had to have slowed down another 20 seconds to let any more drivers by him. Pablo Suarez, Barry West and Stefan Beluca were quite far back at that point. So that's what happened to Noora Lumpke at the end there. Caught us off guard a little bit. I'm sure Matt Wood, Ove Trantre and Adam Fraser are pleasantly surprised, and I emphasize the word pleasantly there. Let's give you a full race rundown, beginning with our race winner. Finally, for the first time this season, Antti Lepisto by almost 20 seconds ahead of Matt Wood, who was the second one across the line. Ove Trantre comes home in third, not far ahead of Adam Fraser. Noora Lumpke crossed the line in fifth position, and as we just mentioned, it would have been another 20 seconds for him to yield any more spots, with Pablo Suarez back in sixth ahead of Barry West and Stefan Beluca. And Andis Derevic and Charles-Eric Lemelin. We didn't talk about much all race. They pretty much ran quietly in 9th and 10th all race long.
Yeah, right behind him would be Daniel Gutuzzo and Steve Sarlis, followed by David Toth and Sami Villamaki. These guys all battled strongly throughout the race. David Toth starting 25th, coming up to 13th. Nice job to him. Andreas Nielsen and Derek Roosevelt, they also battled hard, had some instances, but came home 15th and 16th. Francisco Gutierrez, didn't mention him too much, but he comes home 17th, and Chris Howard 18th. Johnny Bell and Francois Gagne round out the top 20.
And then rounding out the rest of the field in 21st position, we have Marco Zez. And then we get to the drivers who did not make it to the end: Rennie Lopez, Glenn Corrigan, Robert Simpkins, Russell Hamilton, Cameron Smith, and Gregor Verstrainen. Alright, well, we tell you from our knowledge what happened with Juha Noora Lumpke at the end there. Let's hear it from the guy himself. Noora Lumpke, I would say congratulations on the second place finish, but you elected not to take that at the end. Still a very good comeback race out there today.
Yeah, thanks, Samuel. It was fun, and I was very pleased to have that pace and able to keep up with Dante's pace at least a few laps. But, well, it's been a very long time since I've been racing, and that obviously was a little bit here and there struggling with my car, but nevertheless I was very surprised that I had this pace, and yeah, I didn't take that second place because I thought that Matt and Uwe could have some more points if I let them pass, and if they are challenging each other or other drivers with championship, and I don't, so I don't care.
So is this just a one-off for you, or are we going to see you come back at COTA next week and Road Atlanta the week after that?
I think this is a one-time pop-up race, and I'm not supposed to come next week or other weeks, but never know. I might come when I feel so.
All right, we'll take it as it comes. Well, we thank you for coming today, because you definitely put the pressure on Antti Lepisto for most of the race, and then he just broke away from you in those final few laps, but still a solid performance there, considering we haven't seen a whole lot of you this season.
Yeah, thanks again. It was very tough to battle with Antti because we had different setups, and I obviously had a less downforce, and top speed was about 8 kilometers faster from me. But Antti was very good this time, and congratulations to him. And he was very consistent, only few mistakes, but I made plenty of them. So have a good rest of the season, and cheers to everyone in this series. Bye bye.
So that was the driver who finished in second place, Juha Noralamki. Sorry, the driver who would have finished in second place. He finished in fifth. Just 2 positions behind him was Barry West, and Richie's caught up with him.
Barry, welcome back to the booth here. Pretty good event for you. Nice, solid 7th place finish. You had a good battle with Suarez at the beginning, and then after that, kind of settled down for you.
And I think Barry has been having microphone issues because noticed he walked out of our booth a moment ago to try and get his microphone fixed and just did it again.
Yeah, we'll give Barry a moment here to see if he can connect back in.
Well, we'll give him a couple moments there to see if he can fix those issues. Richie, as we mentioned, even though things looking really good for Dreno Friesch in the Drivers' Championship, despite him not showing up here today, not a great day for Ferrari, but a great day for Ligier here. And boy, Friesch and Salas are really going to have their work cut out for them next week at Coda.
Oh, okay. We'll bring Barry back in here. Barry, can you hear us? Yep. Yeah, well, as far as the team battle goes there, Sam, I think that this race probably might solidify the team championship, even with 2 races to go, or 2 races to go, sorry, because Suarez and Lepisto had a solid finish. It was nice to see Lepisto finally put the race together, running that number 1 car this time, and have the win that, he's been strong all season, so he finally got that win for himself.
Absolutely. And next week, we'll see if he can do it again, or if Friesch will return and continue to build on these points lead and maybe mount a challenge against Ligier for the Ferrari team. We will find out next Sunday here at COTA on GSRC. We would like to thank all of the organisers and competitors from the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship for choosing GSRC, coming out here today and putting on this show. We would also like to thank all of the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts. There you can see them all listed on your screen. Additional thanks goes out to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde to provide us with our great music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their work. Thanks to the team today, Richie, Amjad and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. All of the upcoming races for our other series are on screen, so check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you